Mental Fitness Matters show. This show is designed to provide you with tips, strategies, and solutions on how to improve your mental health and mental fitness. And on today's show, I'm going to be talking about the power of intentional thinking. The power of intentional thinking and ways that you can learn how to reduce stress and anxiety in every area of your life just by being intentional with your thoughts. And I just think that this topic, especially right now, is super, super important with all the stress, the worry, the fear, the unknowns that are going on, the uncertainties. There's a lot of stress. Social distancing is causing people to feel isolated and alone. Uncertainties around school, whether people are going to be doing 100% virtual, some not, is causing a lot of stress and worry for parents and families around what they're going to do for their kids this school year. The loss of business, some people haven't been able to get back to opening up their businesses. So that's caused a loss in business and financial support. People have lost loved ones to this pandemic. So there is a lot of stress for people all over the world. I was looking at some statistics, and they're showing that this pandemic, more people are suffering from stress and anxiety, and there has been a greater need for mental health support. The research was showing June 2019 compared to June 2020, numbers have doubled, in some areas have tripled in terms of people seeking out support in a mental health aspect. So no one is immune to this. I think that's really important. No one is immune to this. So it's important for you guys to begin, if you're listening right now, really starting to pay attention to how you're feeling, pay attention to how you're thinking. Ask yourself this question. Begin to ask yourself, are your thoughts controlling you, or are you controlling your thoughts? Are you in the passenger seat of your thoughts and emotions, or are you in the driver's seat? So ask yourself that question. Do you find right now you are controlling your thoughts, you're in the driver's seat, or are your thoughts and emotions controlling you, which means you're in the passenger seat? Are you going throughout your day or starting your day with dread, worry, feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and anxious, just waiting for the shoe to drop? Or are you starting your day with expectation, excitement? Are you excited about getting going? Intention, clarity, or perspective? If you decided that you pretty much are starting your day the first way, whether it's with dread, some anxiety, and stress, know that you're not alone in that. And as a licensed mental health clinician and as a mental fitness consultant, I do a lot of work around the brain and helping people get in control of their thinking, because there's so much power in that. But I want you to know you are not alone if that is the way that you've been waking up over the last couple months. I've been seeing so many memes on social media saying, can we get a do-over for 2020? So people are ready to go back and start again. So you're not alone in that. And it's really easy to get hijacked emotionally and just start to react to things that are going on around you. But I do want to give you guys today on today's show some tips and strategies on how to get in the driver's seat and get control and become more aware of how your thoughts influence how you feel, and then how you feel influences how you behave and act and going forward. So I want you to become empowered instead of a victim of what's going on here. And I think the very first thing that we got to do as we get into this topic, which is the power of intentional thinking, we got to first talk about what it means to be intentional. What does that mean to be an intentional thinker? Being intentional means being present, making thoughtful choices in your life, and it's about making conscious choices and decisions to ensure that what you do each day enables you to focus on what's really important to you. I'm going to say that again. So being intentional means being present, making thoughtful choices in your life, and making conscious choices and decisions to ensure that what you do each day enables you to focus on what's really important to you. And a lot of times if I'm talking about intentionality, goal setting and things like that with my clients, they say, what's the difference between setting a goal versus setting an intention? And that is a very good question, because they are different. When we think about setting goals, goals are normally future oriented, so that we have a specific destination or a specific achievement that we're trying to accomplish. So goals are normally focused on the future, something specific that we're trying to accomplish. Intentions, on the other hand, are more about being in the present moment. It's about living something each day, regardless of the outcome, regardless of what that specific goal is. It's really about how you want to be in the present moment, how you want to live presently. So by learning how to set your intention first and combining that with your goals, you will become a creator or someone who can really enjoy both the journey as well as the destination. I want to make sure you guys get that. So if we can really begin to learn how to set our intentions first, which is how I want to experience this moment, we combine that with whatever the goals that we have set for ourselves, we can become somebody who really is creating this life, creating this experience, and enjoying the journey as well as the destination. And I think that's a huge point, because I think at times we get so caught up in the end goal or end result that we miss out on that. And that's where the anxiety, that's where the fear comes from. That's where the lack of self-confidence comes from. That's where depression kicks in, feeling like a failure. Because we have in our heads, whatever the goal is, whatever the destination is, whatever we put on our vision board, whatever dream that we have for ourselves, that is the things that we see. And if it hasn't happened yet, or it's not here yet, or if it hasn't quite manifested into something that's tangible that we can actually see, then it begins to create a sense of failure. And we miss all of the little steps in between that were happening in the present moment. And I think that's huge. So intention versus the goal, intentions allows us to really create how we want things to happen. So by being intentional, this allows you to focus on how you want your moment to be, regardless of the outcome, regardless of winning or losing. It's not about that destination. Goals are great and they can help motivate us, but they can also begin to produce these feelings that we're not enough, or that we failed, or that it's not good enough yet. If somebody's reaching for a goal of 25 pounds weight loss and they've only lost 5, that they discount everything that they've done to lose that 5 pounds. And that's not fair to yourself. And that creates anxiety, that creates stress, that creates depression, that creates a lack of confidence and self-esteem. So what I want to do is share with you guys just a personal example of what I'm talking about as it relates to setting a goal versus being intentional. Since COVID has happened, as everybody's probably experienced, if you were a part of a gym, most of the gyms around the country are closed. And so we've all had to make adjustments and adapt to new ways of getting that physical activity in. And one thing that I'm very intentional about every day is really, I want to sweat. I want to feel. I want to really kind of release. It's a stress release for me. So one of my intentions that I have daily is I want to be able to feel something. I want to be able to exercise. I want to be able to get those things out. And so what I've done now, because I can't go to the gym, is I run. And I've set a goal for myself. I want to try to get 2.5 miles in a day. So remember, I said a goal looks more at that future, at that specific destination. So my goal and my daily goal for running is about 2.5 miles a day. I also set an intention before I run. Remember, the intention is how I want to feel during that present moment. I want to be able to experience nature. I'm somebody who loves to be outside. I love looking at the birds, the trees. I love the way the wind feels on my body. I love all those things. So I'm intentional about wanting to experience something beautiful while I'm out there. I'm wanting to connect with the people that are on the trail. So I want to be able to have a pleasant experience with the people that I come in contact with on my trail. So I want to be able to connect with my mom. I lost my mom in 2019, and I feel like I see her and I experience her now in form of a cardinal or a bird or a flower or certain smells. So I get really intentional about being able to connect with her while I'm out there. So just listen to me for a second. So I set that intention before I go on my run so I can have positive and meaningful interactions. Think about it like this. If I just focused on my goal, which was to run 2.5 miles, if you guys have been outside over the last couple of days, you know the heat index, it's hot out there. And I have asthma, so that affects the air quality. I haven't been able to get in my 2.5 miles. I've been able to do 1.8. Maybe some days I do 2. Maybe some days I do 2.5. Depending on what it feels like out there, that's adjusted my end goal. If my only focus was getting my 2.5 miles, I could easily go home and feel like that I failed. I could easily go home and feel like, what was the point of me even going out there? But because I was intentional, there has not been a time that I've been out on my journey or my trail or my run that I haven't met somebody, had an interaction with somebody, but got a chance to speak to other people, experience nature, whether that's seeing flowers, seeing birds, seeing bunny rabbits. I've been able to experience all of those things and be mindful and aware that I have and come home with a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. The difference between just focusing on your goal versus focusing on your goal with an intention is that I can still walk away from that experience and feel like that I accomplished something. No, I didn't get into 2.5, but I got in 1.8. And if I still really want to get in 2.5, if it's too hot outside, now I can move into the house and get that other how many ever miles I need to get my goal. So being intentional allows you to get the best out of your thoughts, so you can shift yourself from the passenger seat of being hijacked by your emotions and thoughts to the driver's seat of being in control of your thoughts and emotions. Okay, so I hope everybody is understanding that right now, the only thing that we really have control over, as we can see, the entire world has changed. The only thing that you have control over is your thinking, and you have to become intentional in your thinking. Graduation plans, travel plans, all those other plans have been hijacked. They've been derailed. There's a change in how you're going to get there. So you have to become very intentional about how you see yourself getting there. And what I want to do is take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to get into the tips and strategies on how you can begin to change your thoughts right now, become an intentional thinker, which is going to change how you feel for the rest of your life. Tuning in to the Mental Fitness Matters Show. We'll be right back after this break. I'm Tracy. Hey, welcome back. You are listening to Mental Fitness Matters. I am your host, Tracy Alston, and this is WSIC Radio. And before we took a break, we were just talking about the power of intentional thinking and really beginning to look at ways that you can begin to reduce stress and anxiety by getting some control over the ways that you are thinking. And before we went to break, I was just providing an example about how we can get so focused and dialed in on the end goal that we forget all about the little things that are happening in the process of everything that we're trying to accomplish. And the way that you dial in on that is really getting intentional about what you're trying to experience and how you want to experience it. And so I provided that example about what I think about when I'm going out for my run and how some of my destination journey, the goal has changed because of the heat. Made some adjustments, but I still am feeling satisfied throughout the process. So I want to give you guys just some tips on how you can really start to dive into your own thought process. And the first thing I want you to understand is don't take for granted the choices that you have in your thinking. You have choices that you make every single day. Seriously, when you begin to think about asking yourself, what am I doing and why am I doing it? When we think about it, we are faced with dozens of choices that we have to make a day, whether that's what we want to eat or what we don't want to eat. whether we want to watch the news or not watch the news, whether we want to go work out or not work out. We make choices every single day. So you have to really become intentional about why it is am I making this choice and how do I feel after I've made it. For example, if you're making the choice to watch the news and you're feeling like as you're watching the news, you're getting more stressed out, you're getting more anxious, you're getting more worried, you're becoming more fearful, it's making you feel worse. You have to really assess that. Be mindful that, wait a minute, I don't feel as good doing this as I thought that I would. So maybe I need to turn the channel. We have a choice in everything that we're doing. So becoming intentional, meaning we get in the driver's seat. We don't become the victim of, you know what, I'm stressed out because everything I see online is just, it's all negative. It's all stressful. Well, turn it off. That is a choice that you have every single day. So we can't be so quick to give our power away or to shift blame other places. We have to say, why am I doing what I'm doing and how am I feeling after doing it? Okay, so make a conscious decision that I'm going to assess the things that are in my life, whether that's the things that I'm consuming on social media, whether that's the people that I'm hanging around, whether that's the things that I'm eating, whether that's my morning routine or sleeping routine. I'm going to begin to do an assessment over every area of my life. And I'm going to say, you know what? Why am I doing those things? A lot of times we do the things that we do because we feel that we're going to feel better in the having of it, right? So that's why we're making these decisions. But if that is not what's happening, it's okay to pivot and adjust and say, you know what? I thought this was healthy for me. I may have gotten something from this last week, but this week it's no longer serving me. It's causing me more stress and anxiety. Shift, turn it off. Don't be afraid to pivot because everything that you're doing and everything that you're consuming has an attachment to how you're feeling and how you decide to move forward or not. So really start to not take for granted the power and the choices that you can make with your thoughts. I love to just kind of use an analogy when we talk about our GPS systems. A lot of times we go from point A to point B, whether we have destinations in our lives or specific goals that we're trying to achieve in our lives. Think about it as set points. Point A is where you start. Point B is where you're trying to go. And normally when we have our GPS on, it's kind of calculating a route and it tells you how to get there. But a lot of times, if you're using Waze or Google Maps, if there's something that needs to happen, whether it's a detour or a roadblock or an accident, the GPS system will come on and it'll say recalculating route. And so we have a choice. And a lot of times I'm guilty of this myself. It's like, no, this is the way that I want to go. I'm used to going this way. Let me just try to keep going on that path. And a lot of times when you just try to keep going on that path, that's when you're facing resistance. The GPS just told you we need to detour and go another route because there's something that's come up that may take you in a different direction. We decide from there how we want to move forward in that. If you decide to keep going, you may face some stressors and some unknowns or delayed in time, but the GPS always says recalculating route. It always starts you over from where you left off. It's not completely washed out everything that you've done before. Doesn't mean your journey or your destination isn't waiting for you. It just means that you got to recalculate now from where you are. There's a roadblock. Think about that. Everybody in the world is facing that roadblock right now. The pandemic is here. It's here. So everybody has been faced with a roadblock. Whatever those goals were, whatever that set point for point B is, it's going to look a little bit different in how you get there. So you have to become intentional about your thoughts around that. You can stop your car, get out of the car and say, I'm just not going to go to point B because I can't go in the route that I planned on going. You can kick your tires. You can be upset. You can be stressed out. Or you can get out, stay in your car and decide, you know what? I may see something different on this route. This is going to take me in a different direction. Maybe I'm going to see some scenery that I've never seen before. Maybe on this next destination, I'll get a chance to pull over, go to a new shop, have a new experience that I never thought I would have and I would have never had the detour not taken place. So be mindful that just because your A to B route is not happening in the way that you thought that it should have happened or the plan that you set up for yourself, get intentional about shifting your thoughts that just because it can't happen this way doesn't mean that I can't get to point B. It's just going to look a little different. And I think that's an important message, especially when we think about our youth who are watching us, especially if you're a parent and you have kids. They're watching you right now. They're watching all of us right now to see how are we handling this change. I may have to do all virtual teaching and learning for my students or for my kids. And if you're telling your kids or your kids are telling you, I don't learn well online. I can't learn like this. and you are agreeing with that, or you're saying that to them, you might as well call it a washed year. You could be saying to them, guess what, Johnny? Learning virtually may not be what you've used to or something that you've never experienced, but we're going to have fun in this process. I'm going to encourage you to try to find something about virtual learning that you can learn, or maybe even have the ability to teach somebody else who thought they couldn't do this. So it's really about grabbing a hold and choosing your focus, being able to say, as I go through this moment, I don't just want to get to point B. I want to enjoy the process as I go there. You don't have to wait till you get to your destination to be happy. You can start that right now. And if you're waiting on that destination to be happy, a lot of times when we talk about the failures and setbacks and the detours that you take, that causes you to quit altogether. When it wasn't a wash, people who aren't able to graduate school physically, they're still able to do virtual graduation. Doesn't mean all those years they went through school were a wash. No, it's just going to look a little different. So we have to really become intentional about how we're showing up to the table and where do we put our focus, and really get intent on feeling good, on being happy, and looking for those things around you that you can get that in. And I also want to give one more tip before time is up, really being intentional about owning your mornings. The morning times are really, really important. I do a lot of work studying the brain and the brain's activity. And right when we wake up, we're in a brain state called alpha theta brainwave state. It is one of the most powerful and suggestive states that your brain is ever in anytime through our waking state. It's when you're first coming up. If you can use that 15 to 20 minutes before you do anything else, I would say do not pick up your cell phone. Do not turn on the TV. Get intentional about owning your mornings. You block off between 20 and 30 minutes before you get up and do anything else, and just spend time, whether that's in your meditation practice or prayer practice, or just having some intentional thoughts about how you want to see your day moving forward. It will change your life. Because a lot of times what we first do when we wake up, we're hijacked by the things that we're responsible for. If you turn on the news, you're hijacked by the emotional energy and tone of the news. If you're on social media, you're taking on somebody else's emotional tone and energy, and that sets the tone for you for the day. Remember, being intentional is about being in the driver's seat and getting in control. So what I want you to do for the first part of your morning, 15 to 20 minutes, if you're saying, well, when I get up, I'm to the races, wake up 30 minutes earlier. Set your alarm 30 minutes earlier so that you're intentional about protecting that time. You get up, you set the tone and the energy for your thoughts and your emotions for the day. This will change your life forever. Don't take for granted your morning time, because this is the most powerful part of your brain, and it's looking for suggestions. It's looking for something to do. So give it something positive. Give it something to look forward to. Give it something to be intent on. If you're intending to be kind today, say, you know what? I'm going to find one nice person to be kind to, or find a person to be kind to. I bet you'll find 10 people that you can be kind to that day. Really change your focus on what you're looking for. You can even say, you know what? I want to get up and have a great and meaningful conversation with people today. I want to interact and meet new people, meet like-minded people, meet people who don't think quite like me, and see what I can learn. And I guarantee you that's going to come into your experience. So change your focus and change what you're looking for. And I'm pretty sure everything that you're seeking, you will find. That goes both ways. If you're looking for something negative to happen, you'll find that as well. Okay? There's so much power in your thoughts, Mental Fitness Matters community. I am passionate about helping build people up mentally, physically, and emotionally. And that starts with the power of your thoughts. I want my community to go out and shine bright like the stars that you are. Continue to stay safe. Take care of your families. Take care of your loved ones. Be intentional about your thinking. There's power in that. I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us today on Mental Fitness Matters. Tune in every Thursday at 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. for more tips, tools, strategies, and solutions that will help you reach your peak mental fitness. My name is Tracy Alston, and you've been listening to Mental Fitness Matters.